Good morning, people. Today I am at Zoo Culture to see if can you actually have a good workout here at Zoo Culture Gym. Now, after my Muscle Beach video of the same name back in 2023, I feel like this was quite long awaited, so let's get in there. All right, so we made it inside. Dude, upon first impression, it's actually a lot more like tame, quiet, and polite than I thought. For some reason, I had this preconceived notion that there's gonna be a bunch of cameras around and everything, and it's gonna be super loud, a bunch of influencers, but no, it seems like a really chill boutique gym. In fact, it reminds me a lot of the gyms in Asia. Very different impression than what I originally thought it would be. But anyways, enough talking. Let's get into our first exercise now. I'm thinking since this place has a lot of like unique machines and stuff, might as well just start there. We're gonna be hitting an upper body workout. Instead of incline barbell bench, we're gonna be using one of these machines over here. Let's go. All right, my torso is just a little bit too short for this. I wish the seat height went one notch higher, but I think I'm gonna go with this vertical inside grip. So I'm closer to around like a 45-degree pressing angle. Now, if you think this is a little bit too close grip, we have to keep in mind that this machine slightly converges. So I think this arm path for the upper chest should be pretty decent. So let's load on some weight and see how it feels. All right, so I think working weight's gonna be 2.5. Now, one of the big questions of the day is, how do the weights feel? In some gyms, even though the weight says 45, I swear to God, it's either a little bit heavier or a little bit lighter. I'm hoping here the weights feel a little bit lighter than usual, just so, of course, I look stronger. Let's see how it is. I just realized, I think there's really no way to tell if the weights could feel lighter or heavier if I'm using a machine I never use. Like, I should have done incline barbell so I can actually test how like 185 would feel, but that's whatever. At least you guys are able to see a unique Arsenal machine. Now, speaking of machines, they also have a pendulum squat like all the way over there, which is very unique. The last time I saw a pendulum squat was at a X-Sport in the suburbs of Chicago, and that has since closed down, so it's definitely a plus. I think the selection of machines here is definitely good. All right, actually, here's what we'll do. For the second set, I'm actually gonna be moving over to incline barbell bench and see how I do there. I know it's not gonna be a good direct comparison on strength because it's gonna be my second set, and that last machine set was pretty close to failure, but I think will be a good gauge, and I'm honestly just curious, so let's get into that. Ooh, I kind of like this disconnected bench. It feels really good. All right, I'm gonna do one more warm up. Ooh, felt quick, guys. I hope I get 8.
I don't know what you want. Let's have a bit of fun till I downfall, my love.
All right, 6. I'm gonna fatigue myself on the first side for the machine, but I think that would have been like 8 if I was fresh off. That was good. Now we're gonna be moving on to weighted pull-ups. Guys, if you are curious about what gym clothes I'm wearing, definitely check out Able, which is my clothing sponsor. They make super high quality gym wear for men and women, and I like to think of it as like the quality of Alphalete at the price point of Gymshark. So it's a really good value pick in my opinion. In fact, they just had a new men's line that I haven't received yet because I'm out here in LA, but it's already out. You guys can potentially get it before I do. All right, so I need a belt with a carabiner. I found a belt with a chain, but it's missing a carabiner. So let's see if there's one out here. There's at least one out on the floor, but we got it. They even have a platform for the pull-ups for those who are vertically challenged. These are pretty tall, man. All right, so let's see if this carabiner actually fits through the plate hole. Oh, just fits. Ready for some pull-ups. take one more warm-up set. Feel good. I think I'm aiming for 2 plates today. Let me strap this on real quick and see how it feels. There we go. Honestly, I think the hardest part is gonna be getting my arms even to the pull-up bar to begin with. Ooh, feels good. Feels good. Let's do 2 plates. All right. Now this is gonna be working weight. I think I'm gonna try aim for 5. I'll be happy if I get 5. We'll see. I think also for this, I'm gonna need to take out my ring. Oh, this is gonna hurt my finger, so. See how we do. All right, it's good. It felt pretty good. I think the weights feel slightly lighter than like a typical commercial gym like LA Fitness, and the handle felt really good, so I'm happy about this. All right, so the next thing we're gonna be moving to is chest flies. I have this machine, which looks super cool. Now you might think, Tyler, you did an incline press earlier. Why are we doing an incline fly? Is that jump volume? Is that redundant? Well, just because the seat is inclined doesn't necessarily mean we're gonna be biasing the upper chest. The reason why is, with this handle, our arms are gonna be flared out all the way here, right? Keeping that in mind, when we have a more flared out arm path and training this horizontal adduction movement, this is still gonna be more of a mid-chest biasing arm path. If we wanted to truly make this upper chest, then our arm path should be more diagonal, like this, which maybe is possible on here. Let me see. Nah, it's not possible. So it's gonna be a mid-chest focused machine fly. Let's see how it is. I'm gonna be answering the question, is it better than a pec deck fly or cable fly? Let's find out. All right, you can get a good stretch on the chest, feels pretty good. Load up some more weight. Now, since the racks are super close to each other, we have to load them with 25-pound plates. So we can't use the 45s. It's a little interesting tidbit on this machine. Also real quick, I'm like super blown away that this gym's actually pretty chill. Like there's not a lot of people in it, especially considering most gyms are pretty packed in LA, Valley, SGV area. This is actually a pleasant surprise, but maybe that's because the day passes are $60. Not cheap, guys. All right. It's time to do our working set. Actually, let me take my pump cover off, bro. I always forget this. I have a habit of keeping my hoodie on until like the very last set. So when I have like peak pump, I don't know, it kind of helps me stay motivated in the workout. But I realized for a YouTube video, it kind of gets a little boring if you can see me working on a hoodie. So let me take this off. That's better. Now it is time for a working set. Ooh. Wow. So feels pretty good. One gripe though, I will say, this is a more short and focused fly machine. So instead of being hardest at the bottom over here, the hardest part's like more over here when the chest is nearly shoring. And technically where the triceps would be more involved, especially if you tend to straighten. Now, it's kind of hard to actually strain your elbows on this, so I don't think I'm getting as much tricep involved, which is a good thing, but I would prefer if this was like harder at the bottom technically, but it's not the worst thing. When I think of the purpose of a fly compared to a press, it's about training the extremes of the range of motion. So either training all the way in the stretch position, so getting a deeper stretch than what's normally possible when you press, but also getting resistance in this more shortened part of the range of motion going across the body, which is pretty much at the point around shoulder width and narrower than that. Because of course, if you're doing like a barbell bench press or any free weight press, you're pressing directly straight, you can't actually fully shorten the chest. Even though it is short and focused, I don't think it's the worst thing. It would be ideal, you know, if you got more resistance in the down position, but I think overall it can be a pretty unique variation. So I would give this, I'm just gonna be rating machines all of a sudden, but I think I would give this a solid like A-, B+, I don't know, let's round up, A-, just because overall it feels pretty decent. Maybe a little bit more biceps than usual compared to like a pec deck fly when you're just like upright, but you know, it ain't the worst. But overall it feels quite stable, very comfortable. I think it actually feels better in your elbow doing it this way, lying down, rather than being upright over here. And of course, it's far more stable than doing with cables. If I hypothetically was to move to LA and start going to Zoo Culture on a consistent basis, I probably would program this exercise maybe like one time out of the week or every other week just for variation. All right, next we're gonna be doing a chest supported row, ideally to bias the mid back, meaning we want a flared arm path. This Arsenal chest supported row machine that's based off the regular hammer strength one is a little unique because it has this flexible handle grip thing, which is actually a good thing, but kind of wish it was a little bit taller, at least for me, because I like standing, it feels more comfortable this way. But if I'm doing it from this position, my arm path is kind of more down here. So I have to kind of do this like weird lunge thing where I kind of like crouch down, trying to see what's the best way to, most comfortable way to do this. I think probably right here. See how it feels. Ooh, I run out of range of motion too. Let me move this back a little bit. Oh, I really gotta crouch down. Ooh, it's decent, it's decent. It's a little bit close, narrow too. Ideally, I want it to be like more out here, so I can really squeeze my shoulder blades back, but it's close enough. It's close enough. Ooh. GG. All right, so for this next one, we're actually gonna be doing an antagonistic superset. So we're gonna be stringing this tricep exercise with this machine over here, which is gonna be a cable preacher curl. I've literally never seen this in my life before, but it's essentially a cable pulley on this preacher curl. I got live before this recording, I tested it out with doing 1 rep, and it actually has a pretty intricate design. Because this thing swivels up, we're actually able to get a lengthened focus bicep exercise, meaning it's hardest at the bottom over here, similar to if we're doing like a regular free weight dumbbell preacher curl. But of course, since we're using the cables, it's gonna be much more stable. This is actually a really cool contraption. I see why everyone glazes Arsenal machines, because the designer of this machine definitely did his research. I'm gonna leave it at that. Not gonna lie, I haven't even said anything yet, but the lighting here is really good, guys. Like, ever since I took on my pump cover, I'm just looking over everywhere. I'm like, damn, I see myself, there's mirrors across the wall. I'm like, damn, I'll go over here and this lighting's good. So I see why people would definitely want to film me. All right, I think I'm gonna keep the weight at 60 just because this is my first time using the machine, just to make sure, you know, everything feels safe and comfortable. Ooh, all right. Because this is hardest at the immediate bottom over here, you really can't load this up that heavy, or else it feels super kind of scary. So if you ever come here in Zoo Culture, I recommend going lighter than usual. I was only doing 60 pounds, I was able to get like 3 reps. Ooh. Now, you guys notice I'm going like super deep overhead. Do you really need to do that? Probably not. I'm just doing it because technically the long head can get a better stretch in that position. But keep in mind that an overhead tricep extension is actually going to be more lateral and medial head biasing rather than long head. It's just you're getting a stretch on the long head, but because of the stretch and the way the long head bulges out, the long head ends up in a disadvantaged position. So TLDR, you shouldn't be doing overhead tricep extensions for the long head. Consider it, again, a lateral and medial head biasing tricep exercise. Also, if you guys made it this far in the video and you're subscribed already, or maybe you're just looking for personal guidance on getting your fitness goals, I would highly recommend that you apply to my one-on-one fitness coaching program, where I pretty much set you up with a custom workout program fit for your schedule, nutrition advice for your goals, track your progress on a weekly basis, and you'll pretty much have the ability to ask any questions you might have. So if that sounds interesting to you, definitely check out the link in the description. Hope to see y'all there. Anyways, back on finishing this superset with the machine preacher curl. All right, people, last set, best set, and then I'm gonna pose a little bit and give you my final verdict. Can you actually have a good workout at Zoo Culture? Here we go. Ooh. All right, let's find a good spot to pose. It's pretty much anywhere in this gym. So that was the workout today at Zoo Culture. Now, answering the question, can you actually have a good workout here? Well, my opinion, yes. It's actually surprisingly, especially if you go early, it's actually surprisingly quiet here. Now it's 10 a.m. right now, so it's starting to get a little bit more packed as you see. But overall, it's a pretty high quality gym. It reminds me a lot of like the boutique gyms in Asia in terms of like size-wise. But just keep in mind, I'm coming here like pretty early in the morning. If you come here at 5 p.m., I assume it's probably gonna be super packed and rowdy. Maybe a lot more cameras out. This morning, I was literally the only person recording, which was actually surprising. I was super surprised. But with that said, thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you're curious about when I went to Muscle Beach, check down the link in the card. Otherwise, I'll see you on the next one. Peace.